behind it. So
Yeah, well, so that's 2. What about, let's see, Reagan, that was you, Kayla and Misty and Brianna and Sarah. What do you all, there should be a way to do a poll. Midterm, okay, that's 3. I'm all for that. So let's see, sample midterm, that is page 599. We could start with the chapter 6. Oh, no worries, Brianna. So the question is, do you want to do the 6-2 worksheet that's due for me, or should we just not do that and start right with the sample midterm? Okay, Kayla, no worries.
I think you'll like it, Kayla.
So we could start at that spot. Okay, let's do that. So let's start at the midterm.
Eric, could you just go over, so before we start something, and just let them know like what time that they can start on Monday, what their expectations are. So, because they were asking me everything, and I'm like,
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So let's just wait and ask, but so we can get that out of the way first.
Great question. Okay. So I might even just write this down. Oh, why did I do that? So let's see, the midterm is on Monday. I had offered the night class. We had talked about whether we should do respondus or a Zoom proctoring.
So I guess they kind of talked about that, and nobody wanted to do respondus because they thought about what would be the issue of going to StatCrunch, going to an outside website.
Yes, it's allowed. There's a way to make it that you can
just that one allowed.
Yes, that and Desmos.
I talked with the night class, and everybody in the night class said they did not want to do respondus. They wanted to do Zoom.
Fine by me. I'm all for that. So this is what it will be. I will still set up a respondus option, but let's talk about that last. So my office tutoring hours start at 8:30. So you can, let's see, you could start time could be 8:30 a.m. And this is the day for this is 10/17. And then the end time, unfortunately, you have to end at this specific time. And I am quite nervous that this is going to become, that this will be the problem. I don't have, there's zero flexibility. Talk to me, Regan, what you got?
If we get done before, we can obviously get off earlier.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, as soon as you're done, you're done. And you submit your exam, there'll be a spot to submit it, your written work.
Guys, on average, students usually take honestly, between like an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours. And they're
yeah,
well done before then.
So yes, so and those of you that have been able to attend these sessions, I have class. What's going on?
And honestly, because Eric is going to put the data sets already in StatCrunch, that is going to take off a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time not having to enter data into StatCrunch.
So the other one would be start time 6 p.m. 10/17. And the end time would be when you're done. So I have no deadline on my night class. Technically it ends at 8 o'clock, but we could extend, you know, I can stay on and whatever.
So
The
Eric, I was thinking maybe because the students are not, we do not have technically day students, night students, they do jump around a lot. Do you think it would be best if you just have them come at whatever time they're going to do and then just email them their exam at that time? Because they do have a long time to do it.
That's true. That's true.
Otherwise, you're going to maybe be emailing students who are taking the exam at night, but you're emailing them in the morning.
Right.
So
I
I think
might be able to have yes, I will. Yes. So we'll get the exam as soon as,
you log in.
yeah. There's probably a way I can make that. There's a way I think there's a way in Canvas where I'll have like a thing you have to do to unlock it, and then it would be available. Like you have to click a button and then it unlocks. So these would be the three options. And I'm most concerned about people who haven't been able to attend class, either one of the classes. You have to take this exam today or on this day. This is a strict deadline. I'm not going to allow people to take it other days. So either you come in the morning during tutor hours up to the end of this class time, or you come at night from 6 till whatever you're finished, or I'll have a respondus option that you can take it any time on that day. Really, if you look at the times, it's just like before 8:30 or between the 1 to 6 that you would need the respondus option. So it's almost not even worth it. So your reference, so materials that you're allowed. You get your, I don't ever remember what I said on notes. Was it 3 pages?
You told them 4 pages.
4 pages.
Believe me, they have it. They have it. It's
Okay.
recorded.
It doesn't matter to me, just as long as
I
we're all
know.
doing
I
the
know.
same thing. So anything you want, double-sided notes on those 4 pages. You're allowed the reference sheet material that is provided for you, which starts on page 263, and it's only useful up to page 266. Yeah, you don't need anything. I mean, you can bring the whole packet, but it's beyond that, it's not useful. Was there anything else? I feel like there was a few other little things I said that they could have.
Page 107.
Okay. You go ahead, Regan.
Can we print out that one paper that you gave us, Cindy, with the, does that count as one of the things that we're allowed with the cards and everything like that?
Oh. So on their exam note pack, they did not have like the roulette table and stuff. So I sent them a copy of my exam note pack that did have the roulette table. My guess is you're probably not going to have anything, but because it is an appendix page, I would say, yeah, you just go ahead and throw that in with your appendix.
I'm not going to put roulette on the exam, but you're welcome to have that. That's fine. Yeah. So what is that? The roulette reference sheet. Roulette pages, but I'm going to throw that. I'm not going to make any roulette questions, which would be the only reason you would need that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, but if that helps you feel comfortable, so that Desmos calculator. I think we talked about like, hey, don't use your phone, but you know,
Cameras on.
the camera's on. Can be, let's say it can be a phone. Just don't take pictures of the exam and send it to people. And even then, like I'm already emailing it to people, so it's not a thing. We don't have to worry about it.
Nope.
I guess it's worth, some students always ask this, you can have music playing if you want. I like that stuff, doesn't matter to me, whatever makes you comfortable. is good. Like the things I don't want you doing is texting people, what's your answer to number 7, or uploading pieces of the exam to Chegg or Course Hero or something like that. But those are pretty obvious. Like, I think those go without saying, right?
Yeah, you guys pretend like you were just sitting in a classroom taking an exam. That's what you just need to make sure. It's the exact same thing.
I guess so how is it delivered? So you'll be on Zoom. You will be in a breakout room all by yourself. And you'll be expected to have your camera on. And the purpose of the camera is to not have your face, but kind of, I don't have a kind of view of your work area so that I can see what you're doing. Maybe your face would be enough because we can see cheating in your eyes. I don't know. I am not a person that is trying to catch you cheating. Okay. So I don't want you, if you're a type of person that's like, oh, I think I'm doing this wrong, he's going to think I'm cheating. I think the opposite. There has to be a ton of evidence for me to think that you're cheating. And usually I can tell if someone's cheating based on what they're writing on their papers after the fact, as opposed to what's going on. So please, if you have to go to the bathroom, don't freak out. Get up and go to the bathroom and come back. You don't need to tell me. You don't need to ask permission. I assume you're not cheating. That's my assumption. And I want you to feel comfortable as you're taking the exam. So please do. Anything else we need to say about this midterm? Do you all have any other questions? So it won't be, while you're thinking of those, it's not going to be longer than 10 pages. In other words, it'll be shorter than the sample midterm, but similar to it. There will be, the questions on it will be just like what's on the worksheets and the midterms and the reviews. You won't need to type any data. All data will be in StatCrunch. You are welcome to ask questions while you're taking the exam. I believe we had it set that when you're in your breakout rooms, you click a raise your hand button and that will call me to your room. I'm going to be kind of jumping in and out of rooms just to check on you as you're going. I will stay silent and keep my camera off as I'm coming in and out of your rooms because I don't want to distract you, but also like if you happen to have a question and you see me pop in, great. Yeah. What other questions and concerns do you all have about this midterm? The only thing I'm worried about is this. This is the only thing. If you come in the morning and you come late and you're wanting to keep working, you're going to put me in this awkward position of saying, I have to go to my class. Look at that sweet puppy. Hi, puppy. I have to go to class. You've got to be done. And I really, please don't put me in that position. I hate saying turn it in. So that's the only thing I'm worried about. If you think you're going to need 5 hours to take the exam, come at 8:30 or come at the night one. I don't like that this is a strict deadline. It's just I have to go teach another class. Cool. Okay. If there are no questions, or if questions come up as we go about this or about anything, just let me know and we'll talk about it. So now to the midterm review, the sample midterm. Recall that this thing is 25%. Nope, it's 20% of your grade for the actual midterm. So think of it as a weighted average back from chapter 3. How we calculate your midterm is this 20, come on, 20% times the sample midterm plus 80% times the actual midterm that you're taking on Monday equals your midterm grade. So if we were to assume that you all had 100% on this, and we wanted to say, let's just see if you pass, that's a 70. Here's that calculation. This is what you would need on the midterm exam. Let me just quick do this calculation for you, and then we'll go nuts on the thing. So it's 70 minus 0.2 times 100, shoop, divided by 0.8. You'd need a 62.5 on the midterm, 100% on the sample midterm, and you would get a 70 on the sample midterm, which is the bottom passing grade. Actually, it would be a 69.5 is the bottom passing. That's if you're just passing. But remember, what matters for 133 is your grade at the end of the semester, not your grade in this particular piece. If you're wanting, say, like to hit the 90, you need an 87.5. Okay, so hopefully that helps take off some of the pressure. Now, I don't want to give you any answers to this until you have worked them out completely yourself. And I graded your chapter 4 review just a little bit ago and your chapter 3 review. And I noticed that one of the things that appeared to be happening is some people were leaving blanks, pieces that we didn't actually write down from the videos, which worried me terribly, because that means you're writing down the answers from what you see on the screen and not checking your answer. What I want to see is a wrong answer scratched out and the right answer written in to show that you attempted it and then you got the right answer. The only reason I want that is because that's, that's how you know that's you learning it. Whereas you just writing down what we've said is worthless in many cases. And I know I've said this before, I'm just a little concerned. And it's partly because I've been so slow in grading. What was I going to say? Something. So, shall we start? So let's just start from the beginning. I'll give you 10 minutes for this first page, and you need to tell me what you did. And if no one talks, I'm going to say, okay, let's do 10 minutes on the next page. And I'm not going to write down the answers. I need to hear what you've said, and we need to talk about it. And if you're concerned about recording and other, that kind of thing, I'll turn off the recording when we talk about your answers if you want. But I want to do what's best for you, and giving you the answers is not particularly useful. Yes, it helps you with this piece, but this piece will not be helped if I just give you the answers. Okay, enough of that. Well, let's do it. So set a timer for 10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes. I don't know that we need 10 minutes for this whole first page. How about we do 10 minutes for the first 2 pages? And of course, y'all, if anyone gets stuck as you're working through a problem, just ask so we can talk about it. Reagan, are you talking about this C and D?
No, for part C for question D.
Got you. Right, I could have read that. Absolute difference. Yeah. What number did you have for that?
Well, for blacks I had 650 and whites I had 200. So then I just subtracted them and got 450.
Nice. Man, it's a crazy arrest rate. Isn't that crazy if you think about what's going on there? Okay. What did y'all say for A, by the way?
A time series graph?
Love it, Misty. Yeah.
Isn't a histogram the ones that all touch together? That's how I ruled that one out.
Very nice. Yes. Do we have a histogram on here? No, there's a box plot. No, no. Yeah, no histograms. Yeah, good. And a frequency polygon. Man, I don't even know what that is. That's something from chapter 2. That's the one, isn't this the one where it's like there's a fake starting time and they plot midpoints? But yes, the frequency histogram is Sarah, either one would be fine. Let's see, where are these tick marks? There's 1, 2, 3. So this one is 100 and there are 50s in between. So this would be 700. I think 650 or higher actually is better, because 625 is really going to be right in here. So I might be tempted to mark off for 625 because each tick mark is 50. Right, so this is above the 650. Does that make sense, Sarah? Okay, excellent, good. Okay, so how did everyone feel about that the absolute difference? It's not really something we talk about a lot, but that's the distance between these two. And so I think Reagan said this. No, no, this. Okay, so what does that number mean? That's really what C is asking. Part C of question D.
Like what it means that Black Americans are arrested more frequently than white Americans for
Yeah.
possession of marijuana?
Yeah. Yeah, so more specifically, it's the rate is higher. I mean, yes, you're right. So this is 450 arrests per 100,000 Black Americans more. Actually, it's not. It's just 450 per 100,000 U.S. residents more, which is it's an insanely huge difference, especially if you think about the percent of the total population that is represented by these two ethnicities, right? Like the white population has a far higher amount and percentage of the overall population, and yet the arrests are that much lower. And I think it would be really difficult to argue that, oh, Black Americans have more marijuana than white Americans, right? I don't think there's any evidence to support that. So it's a very, this is a stark example of maybe systematic racism as supported by numbers, right? Like this population gets arrested more than this population. And I suspect the prevalence factor is not at all. different. Go ahead. Did anyone have a comment there? No, we're good.
So would that be like a on average thing, or do we just say these are the numbers from,
Great question.
okay,
Yeah, this is what this number means.
Okay.
450,000 per 100,000. See, this is arrests per 100,000 US residents. More for black than white. So this isn't a sentence structure. Because we don't really talk about absolute difference in this class a whole lot. Yeah. Suppose a researcher wants to study how ethnicity is correlated to arrest for marijuana. Why would it be practically impossible to design this study? Ooh, what'd you all say for that? That's the key word.
I think American history has already studied that. And it's
Yeah.
a proven fact, so.
There's that. But so yes, so this question, it's not, ignore the context really for the first part and focus entirely on what do we mean by design study.
Okay.
So yes, that you're thinking contextually in the answer to the question, like what's up with this correlation? And we've got, laws and other things that and data about what does it mean to be a design study.
I said it would be unethical to like conduct this experiment on people where they're using drugs and getting arrested by their race.
So yeah, so there is a design study that is ethical that has been done that tests effects of race. Have you heard about the resume one, where they put names on resumes that are that sound black versus sound white and just test how many callbacks a person gets? That's a design study because the treatment is changing the name on the resume. Here, when we say design, it means you control something. And so can we control ethnicity or marijuana or arrests, right? Those are the different things, and you can't. Like, you can't randomly assign race. You really can't ethically give people drugs, although you could design this study. I saw a YouTube video of a white guy walking down the street with one of those AR-15 fully decked out rifles strapped to his back. And the cops show up and say, "Hey man, what's going on? What you doing?" And then a black guy walking down the street with the same thing, and they have him on the ground and they're cuffing him, and there's 1,000 people, and that's not really a design study, but that is sort of. So focus on any question you get with designed versus observational. Focus on what does that mean? When we say designed, it means you're controlling something. When we're saying observational, it means we're just sifting through data that has been collected. Cool. Okay, I took too long on that. Did you all do number 2, or do you need some time with this?
I didn't get to it.
Okay, let's do 5 minutes for number 2 and see how we do. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Great work, you all. What we're doing here is exactly what I wanted to happen. So I want you all to crush the midterm. So that was 5 minutes. Are you all feeling like we could talk about this one?
I'm
Okay.
ready. I had like 2 more questions left, but I can,
Oh, no, let me pause. Let me do another 5 minutes. Are you doing the whole page?
yeah.
Oh, by all means, 5 minutes was not enough time. I'm sorry. Set a timer for 5 minutes. All right, let's talk about this. So would you all say was the population of the study? Maybe we should start with what's, oh, go ahead.
All adult Americans.
Nailed it. Go ahead, Misty. What were you going to say? Same thing?
That's what I got too. Yeah.
Nice. Like, here's the description of the sample. Oops. So what'd you all say for B then?
I said the last one.
Nice. Right.
Same.
Good, good. So you remember, like, for those of you that maybe struggle with this, you identify the sample and replace the number with the word all, and you've got the population. Rarely are you told what the population is. Okay, what was the statistic?
The 25% who wanted
Nice.
smoking to be illegal.
That's it.
So
Nailed it, Miss.
You don't actually find the number, you just put 25% of the people, like you say the words, you don't put the actual number.
Good question. So we could, you're going to find later, this will make a lot more sense when we talk about proportions, which we haven't explicitly defined yet. The percent is what we often are more interested in. Although, come to think of it, we do like the X, which is what you did, right? So you're telling me, Reagan, you did this?
Yeah.
Got that number. That's okay too, because that is part of the statistic. The key point here is that you're proving to me you understand what a statistic is versus what's a parameter. What'd you all say for D?
I said because it was a sample, so, and population goes with parameters, so we don't know the whole population.
Good. That's it. That's it. We can infer it from the sample. We can make a guess that, oh, maybe we think 25% of all people think we should just straight ban smoking everywhere or make it illegal. I guess that's a totally different thing. Cool. Good. All right. What's the mean in number 3?
550,
Yes. And what's the standard deviation?
75.
Okay. And how did you use that?
When you're going with like the 3 lines that are on each side, you add 75 to each one to the right and then subtract 75 to the left.
Good. I love it. So you had these numbers, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of money on groceries.
Well, this is clearly, when was this? This has got to be like 2018 or something. Yes, this does not seem, and maybe this is no kids. Maybe this is just
there
a
you go.
single person, right? Yeah, totally with you on that. Was this 475, 400, 325? Now, you are to label the percentages. I'm assuming everyone has that correct, just in case someone needs it. This is just copy and paste, because I'm not going to write them from here, right? You're just these things right here.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's, and when you did chapter 6, right? What you're doing in chapter 6 is nope, never mind. That's chapter 7. Chapter 7, you'll learn how to calculate values that are not standard deviations, like how much area is between here and here. And you'll use StatCrunch to do that. Okay, good so far. Thank you all for talking. I always feel a little guilty about trying to make people to do it, but all right. So what'd you say for B?
I said before between 475 and 625.
Nailed it. Yep, you could write it like this. You could just say between those two, however you want. The point is 68% is one standard deviation above and below the mean. Ooh, that's a rough one. Okay, it's not getting better. All right, what about 475 to 700? What'd you all say for that?
81.5%.
So it was this plus this, which
Yeah.
is 81.5. Wonderful.
Yep.
When I was grading, I saw one person round a percentage. Don't round these results. Write them exactly as you get them when you add them in between. Excellent. What's the percent who pay less than 400?
2.5%.
Nailed it. Is that unusual to pay less than 400?
It is these days.
Good. Is it unusual in the definition we have given in stats class?
Yes. Well, not 400.
But below, right? So to
Below.
say less than is unusual because it's less than 2 standard deviations.
Oh,
Right.
Remember that? Or it's less than 5%, either way.
If it was exactly 400, it wouldn't be. Okay.
Good. If it was exactly 400, we say, nope, that's exactly 2 standard deviations away. It has to be below 400. Which leads us to this. What are the cutoff values for unusual? We just said 400. What about unusually high?
700, greater than 700.
Nailed it. So the numbers need to be less than this or greater than this. And the explanation is that's more than 2 standard deviations away. And that's just the definition. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, you all, I don't think this is on a provided reference sheet, this definition. So you need to have that written on your own. All right. Off of these first 2 pages, what's your grade so far? You don't need to answer that, but just think about how well did you do? Did you get these right? Was there any of these that you didn't get right and need to talk about for anyone?
no.
Okay. I'm thinking we should skip A. I'm thinking we should skip all of 4, but I could be wrong because I feel like everyone is really good at this. Does anyone need a reminder of how to find class midpoints? And relative frequency. Okay. It's lower limits added together divided by 2. The only reason I'm wanting to move on is because I want to get, we have an hour and 10 minutes left, and I want to make, we've done a lot of these, but if you need it, please correct me. So you add those 2 together, divide by 2, that's the midpoint. Sarah, does that ring a bell? Do you think you got it off of that? Okay, good. How about relative frequency? Does everyone remember how to do that?
I'm good with skipping number 4 too.
Okay,
So am I.
okay. So if, although let's pause and talk about this one. Does everyone remember the sentence structure on how to interpret the values? This is chapter 3. I just graded 1 or 2 worksheets on chapter 3, and I saw this one blank on one of them. So I just want to remind everyone there's a structure. On average, if the X value increases by 1, nope, that's the slope. On average, or no, we expect the mean, whatever we're talking about, in this case, the mean science test scores of high school students in different countries to be this number plus or minus or give and take this number. So there's a very specific sentence structure. I'll just write that here. Sentence structure. Okay. This is one of those good ones that you all should do tonight. And then when you go to class tomorrow with Cindy, you could say, hey, I got this answer for number whatever. Am I right? I'm also would like to skip this one because it's a data set. It's also a repeat of a question you've already done.
Eric,
But this is, talk
all
to
of
me.
the, Nicole from last night's class said those are in a data set, if you go to data sets and just type in the word area, then they'll pop up.
Okay. So let me ask the 8 of you, are you comfortable with this one, or do we need to do it and check it?
Can we talk about the, how to find upper and lower fence and the outliers just at the bottom there?
Let's do that. This must be in your reference sheet because it is nowhere else. So the lower fence, I'm going to label it LF, is equal to Q1, which you will have found up here from StatCrunch, minus 1.5 times the IQR, which you will also find in StatCrunch. And then the upper fence, I'm going to label that UF, super similar. It's Q1. Nope, it is not Q1. It is Q3, the third quartile, plus 1.5 times the IQR. And let me change the color on that 3. Super similar, right? They're super close to the same number or the same formula. So you need the stuff from above to calculate it. And then upper fences or the outliers, anything below this number or anything above this number are outliers. So let's say this is 3 and this is 72. What I would do is go back to my data set. It's not in order. Yes, it is. And I would note that these two are outliers because they're below 3. And then, boy, I picked a crazy upper fence, 72. All of these would be outliers because they're above 72. So you need to do those calculations. Now, notice, y'all, I'm assuming that you're okay with this. Should we pause and have you go through this and do it? Or should we move on to more of the chapter 4 stuff?
I think we can move on now.
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay. Here's another sentence structure. It's the exact same question as the one above. We expect the blank to be this, give or take this. So I'm gonna leave that for you to work on. We'll come back to it. I kind of feel the same way about number 6 that
Oh.
we did. I just graded this on chapter 4. That you all were okay with that, and we can come back to it. I would like to do, let's do number 7. Let's start here. And if anyone needs to, thinks we should go back to those ones, we can.
So if they were in class with me, Eric, we did chapter 7. We did like what you were doing and did number 7 together. But I
Oh, okay.
don't know. I don't know if there's anybody in here that didn't get that.
This is the chapter 4 question that you all
I
hate.
know, and that they asked if we could practice chapter 4 stuff, and we had time on Monday. So we did this. I don't remember if we did it for both classes. Did we do it with the morning class?
We did it for the morning class. We got to J on the next page.
Okay.
Excellent.
We didn't do J, I guess we did I.
Okay.
That's that.
Yeah. So we did a.
So we don't need to. Okay.
We did a
Go
good
ahead.
share of it.
Good. Do you all? Okay.
But
Let's.
there may be some people in here that didn't listen to it. I guess they could listen to the
Right.
recording.
So then, shall we go to chapter 5, y'all? I'm wanting to make sure you've had an overview of things, but you all drive this. I'm just making guesses that are not fair. This one is one that can kind of trip people up sometimes. Well, everyone
I'd
hates it.
like to finish the rest of this chapter 4 question if we could.
Okay, let's do it. So I'll tell you what, how about I give you 5 minutes to keep, are you stuck? Like, or do you just need some time to work on it and then we talk about it?
I think just some time,
Okay.
because I haven't looked at it since Monday or whatever.
All right, let's do 5 minutes for you to get in and see what you think. They aren't too labor intensive. It's kind of, if you know it, you can do it. If you don't, you'll probably need some help. So we'll do 5 minutes and I will put the data in and come up with the stuff in StatCrunch for this. And then we can talk. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Okay, that was 5 minutes. Was that enough time? So you need from back here, G, you need this. I forget, did we switch it around? Did we put slope first? And the y-intercept second?
Some did, some didn't.
Okay, so if you didn't switch it around, either one of these is fine. They're both the same exact answer. All right, so you needed that equation, and I got it by, do we all agree on that equation, by the way? Is it possible I typed my data in wrong? I mean, it is possible, yes, but does anyone have a different one? Go ahead, Misty, do you have the same?
I got the same.
Okay, good, then we have to be correct. So what'd y'all do for Jay?
I plugged in 106 for the X, so I got Y hat, right? Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
Equals 3.116 or 166 times 106 minus 55.797.
Awesome, and you got an answer, right? What was it?
279.799, but now I think I might have done 3.116 instead of 3.66. Not sure.
We can check it.
Yeah.
Oops, I put a plus sign.
I think I
No, you did it right.
did
I
it
got
right.
something.
I just
Yep.
wrote it wrong then. Good.
Nice, no worries. What we should pause and check is that we understand what that number is. That's a distance, that's yards, because this is X, this is Y. So our equation is predicting that a speed of 106, let me go back. A club head speed, I don't know enough about golfing to know exactly what that means, I can guess. But a club head speed of 106 miles per hour yields us a distance of 279.799 yards. Excellent. Did everyone compute the residual?
I
Trust-
got
Go ahead.
285 minus 279.999 equals 5.001 yards.
Love it. Note the residual formula is on your provided reference sheet. Observed Y minus predicted Y. What Misty said is exactly right, I think. Come on, stop that. Stop. There you go. Come on, midterm, where are you? There we go. Okay. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Good. So we took the provided, this is the observed one. Anytime we give you a number, that's the observed value. Minus this. What was it? Oh, come on. Why is this not right?
285 minus 279.999 equals 5.001 yards.
Perfect. 5.001. 5.001. Okay, so then the tricky one, like how do we interpret that residual?
If it's positive, then that means it's an understatement, and negative is an overstatement or
Yeah.
overestimate. I'm sorry.
You're good. Same idea. So the ball is going not as far as we expected. Now, maybe it's operator problem, like it's me trying to hit the golf ball as opposed to Tiger Woods or some other, or Phil Mickelson or whoever's a great golfer. So how is the club head performing? Poorly, because the residual is positive, right? That's what you all said.
I said it was doing well.
I agree. I agree that it's doing well because it's over the predicted line. So
Oh, yep. Yes, you all are correct and I'm wrong. This is a great example of how the context matters, because we want the ball to travel further. And I had whatever. So someone picked up the club and hit it 285 miles. We expected to go this far. It went further. So this is well because the residual is positive. These four options are entirely dependent on the context. Although, so like really, these options don't exist because it's not negative, right? So we ignore those. So either one of these could be true based on the context. Do we want it to go further than we expected, or do we not? Okay, good. Excellent. So where do y'all want to go from here? Shall we go through chapter 5 now? Stuff?
I'd be good with that.
Let's do it. Let's start with this page. We've got, good news is we've got plenty of time. So let's do 5 minutes and check in. No, let's do 10 minutes and see if you can't get this entire page. By the way, I should have said this before. How you should be doing this right now is you should have your written reference sheet and the page 263 stuff by you. You should have your StatCrunch open somewhere and whatever calculator you're going to practice with using. And you should sort of pretend like you're taking this as an exam and rely on those reference materials to help you do this. So you're simulating, and then tell yourself that this is 25% of your grade.
Who's your butt, Cass?
Set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, that might have been a few more than 10 minutes. How we doing? You got one more time to work on this page, or are you ready to talk?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. So what's not a probability?
I said the negative 0.5 and the 150%
Good. Anything else?
and the 1/8.
That one's actually okay.
It is okay.
4.1.
4.1 is not okay. Good, Sarah. So your key, any number between 0 and 1. And 0.5 is that middle, right? So 1.8 as a decimal, or sorry, 1/8 as a decimal is 0.125. 4 is above 1, negative is below 0, 150% is really 1.5, so that's above 1. So cool. Yeah, that's your key. If like for fractions, if you don't think you can recognize whether or not it's between 0 and 1, because I might give you a fraction like this, 7/6. Just divide it out and see what you get. See if it's a number between 0 and 1. Cool, good. How'd you all do with this? What's the implication about not the same area size?
I said it's not fair because the outcomes are not equal.
That's it. They're not equally likely.
Yeah.
Not equally likely outcome. Fair is that's a good word too. Yeah, because we use that most often with die, a fair
Okay.
6-sided die, and I think that works here too. The other one is the fair game from gambling, and that's if the expected value is 0. Okay, awesome. Good answers. If a student flicks the spinner once, what's the probability they will retain the colors green or yellow? What'd you all get?
I got 4/12.
Which is 1/3.
Okay, I totally agree that there are a total of 12 sectors. 4 of those sectors, that could you tell I was counting, meet that criteria. Excellent. So 4/12 or 1/3. I don't care which one you give. Excellent. Either one's fine. Excellent. Okay, so what has to be true about green or yellow for this calculation to be true?
They have to be disjoint.
Love it. Oh, you got it. Love it. Yes. So remember, when doing one thing, we're worried about the outcomes being disjoint or the events being disjoint. And when doing multiple things, we're worried about the events being independent. Okay, so what'd you get for D? To do that, red is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So would
5.
we start by doing 12 times 3 just for like the denominator kind of to get like how many?
Well, that's addition. If you do 12 times 3.
Okay.
Because what you're going to do is something over 12 times something over 12 times something over 12. So if you mean
To the
12 to the third, yeah, then you're good. Did you all think multiplication on this problem, or were you thinking addition?
I was thinking multiplication.
Good, good. And that's what you should, because of this in a row. This is sequence. This is one after another. What's the probability we get green first? Let's see, there are 3 greens, 3 out of 12. What's the probability we get red? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 reds. What's the probability we get blue? There are 3 blues. So that's the order, and we multiply that stuff together and we get our answer. In this case, we want decimals. Often when we do these one after another probabilities, the fractions are really difficult to interpret without putting them into decimals. Is this what you all got? 0.026.
I think I put a number in wrong.
Did I put a number in wrong? It's possible I did it wrong. I think I'm okay. Carly, you don't have to. What you could do, can you all see my Desmos?
Mhm.
Okay, good. So you could do 3 divided by 12 times 5 divided by 12 times 3 divided by 12 in Desmos, and that's the same thing. The reason I did 12 cubed is because you're multiplying 12 together 3 times. So it's just a shortcut for that, but you don't have to do that. Does that help, Kayla, or is that not helpful? I just did that. I mean, like, yeah, as long as you can get this and then type that into your calculator, that's good. And in terms of work, I would like to at least see some, I would like to see this one. I mean, so I know that you counted 3 greens, 5 reds, and 3 blues. Then I have something to go off of for grading, because if you just type down this decimal and say you put in 4 out of 12 instead of 5 out of 12, I won't know that you knew how to put it together, but it was just maybe a typing error or something of that nature. So a little bit of an explanation of, or at least like even what you typed in the calculator could be helpful here for partial grading, partial credit. I would love for you to show work on the midterm. Yes. What's going to happen is we email you that exam, and if you have a printer, you could print it out. It'd be just like this, you know, like, and you could do all the work on this paper. If you don't have a printer or you don't want to spend the ink money and the paper money to print it out, you can just have a notebook paper where you write number 1, show all your work and your answers, and then number 2, show all your work and your answers. There is no need to write down the questions as long as you have it clearly labeled. If that makes sense, hopefully. Anyone still concerned about letter D? What'd you all say about letter E?
You gave us that one independent.
Yeah, I did. You're right. I did. Nice. Yes. We're doing 3 things in a row, so they have to be independent to multiply.
So I was thinking, since we, I had dependent down because like I was thinking they were telling us, since like they're telling us what's the probability or whatever that you're getting green, then red, then blue. So it's like they chose what's happening. So I kind of thought that was dependent,
Gotcha.
since there's no like real, it's not, this is going to happen next. If you get a red or whatever, then it's independent.
So not terrible line of thinking, but it's going beyond what this definition is. This definition just says events are dependent, like first green, then red. They would be dependent events if the probability to get red changes because green happened. And the only way that could happen is if like it landed on red and then we removed that red as an option and remade the spinner so there's 1 less red. and now there's only 11 options on here for it to land on, that would be an example of dependent events.
But if it's just like a spinner that you're doing over and over, no matter if they're telling you you have to get this outcome to find it's still independent.
Well, and the like the counter argument to your claim is to calculate any probability, we have to tell you what we want to get. Otherwise,
Right,
there's nothing
right.
to calculate, right? So yes, anytime we're doing spinners, we're rolling die. An example of where you could hit a dependent probability is picking cards from a deck where you don't replace them. We don't study dependent probabilities in this class anymore, so the answer is always going to be independent, but it's good that you're thinking that way. I don't know, is that helpful? That's kind of like a cheat way of like, yeah, this is never going to be the correct answer. How do you feel about this one? You spin we do the spinner 3 times in a row with probability is none of the spins are red. There's 5 reds. Did you think through that there's 7 not reds? So for the first red, yeah, that's the chance it's not red on the first spin. Here's the chance it's not red on the second spin. Here's the chance it's not red on the third spin. Is this what you all did?
No, but I should have.
Well, what did you do? Tell me what you did, because maybe your way is just fine.
I didn't read it correctly. I didn't read the 3 times in a row part. I just put 7 over 12.
Got you. Okay. Okay. So you got halfway there, right? Yeah. That this is the amount of things done is super important. Now, nice, Brianna. That's what I was just about to write, and I was going to mention, like Kayla, when you were asking about this one, this is a very similar one. Since we're multiplying the same thing together 3 times, we can use the cubed if we want. None of that matters because we really are going to write this out as a decimal, although it doesn't say to. I would accept 7/12 to the third, or I would accept this as a correct final answer, the middle one, and I'd also take what I'm about to get from Desmos. Either way. Again, you don't have to use exponents if you don't want to. I'm going to do 3 decimals just to stick with the previous one. 0.198. How are we doing? Is everyone feeling okay? Like when you hit this on the actual midterm, you'll be fine. How can we know definitively what most likely means? Like what do we need to be true?
Like the most chances of getting that answer.
Good. Another way to phrase that would be the one that has the highest probability. So what Reagan's saying is which of these has the largest numerator when you multiply it? Note we're multiplying because we're doing 4 spins in a row. Or you could literally calculate the probability of each and say which one has the highest probability. Now, I think we don't have to do any calculation because red has the most outcomes, 5 of them. So this right here says, oh, we're already probably the most likely with the 2 reds. Green is the tied for the second highest, right? So green and blue are the same amount. So this RRGG is already greater than YYBB. It's already greater than GGBB because RR is greater than BB and GG are the same. And then this is just one of each. So this is the correct answer. It has the highest probability of occurring. Okay. Whew, let's do, I guess let's do 10 minutes on this one. This is kind of annoying. They got all these numbers. How about I fill in these numbers for us? mean, I get why we put this in here to make sure you know how to read this chart, because if you can add the numbers together, then that means you can read the chart, I think, for the most part, but I don't know. If I give this chart to you, I'm gonna have the numbers filled in. Okay. So here's the thing, if we do 10 minutes on this, that's gonna bring us up to the end of class. And then we still have 3 pages to go, but you all said you were good with 6, and that's what the last 2 pages are, is chapter 6. No, yeah, that's all chapter 6.
They can come with questions for me tomorrow.
That's perfect. So let's do this. 10 minutes on this one. This is a good one. And then finish it and bring questions tomorrow. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Great question, Brianna. We are not going to do the 6.2 worksheet, whichever one's due for me. I think it's number 2. So I will, while we're thinking about it, let me remove that. I guess I don't need to share my screen.
So Eric, yours is worksheet 3.
Okay, that's the one. 6.2 worksheet number 3. I'm going to go delete it right now out of both classes. How we doing, y'all? Should we, let's see, we're 3 minutes away from liftoff. Should we talk about this?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. As the heads up, as hopefully you noticed, this is a mix of disjoint and independent options. So keeping track of what's what. I'm wrong, it is not. So what we have to focus on is that we're choosing a random patient. All right, so what'd you all say for number 1? Between 18 and 44 years old.
I got 0.0394.
No rats, I have no idea. Did you do this divided by this?
I did.
Excellent. And now I don't remember the number you said.
0.0394.
0.0394. Now, oh, it did say 4 decimals. Excellent. No underlying health conditions. Did you do 99 over 15,230?
No.
Oh, what did you do?
I didn't read the chart right.
Gotcha. You picked like the 3,061?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's, boy, and I wish I could say that I'd give you partial credit for that, but I would just take off the point.
I just have to slow down and read it.
Okay, good. I'm glad we've discovered that. And then remember that when you take, I don't know how you feel, Misty, when you take an exam, there's that pressure of like, oh boy, I got to do it now. I don't know if that would speed you up or slow you down. I don't know. Okay.
Well, if it's not timed, I'm okay.
Oh, good. You're not timed at all, other than the ending at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
Okay, nice. All right. Did everyone catch the word and? 18 to 44, so this row, and no underlying health condition, this column. And so the amount there is, drum roll, this. Do y'all feel good about that? This is the and of both things have to be true at once, because it's selecting one item and both have to be true. These are not disjoint events. They have overlap. If they were disjoint events, this would be 0. By the way, this is a place where writing out the fraction is helpful and knowing, I guess it doesn't matter. I don't know that I would give partial credit. How about the next one? What'd you all do for that one?
I did 3,413 over the total plus 3,761 over the total, added those together, and then minus the overlap, which is 490.
Love it. Love it. Let me write that down. So 45 to 64-year-olds is the 3,413 over 15,230. Oh, there's the 10-minute timer. Minus the 3,761 plus the 3,761 over 15,230. Oh, come on. Minus that overlap, the and part, which is the 490. And then that's some sort of number that I'm not particularly concerned about. How'd you do with less than 65 years old?
2:30. I would miss my whole point.
It's those three. 4023 over 15,230. Is that what y'all got? Someone have any questions on this? Are we feeling okay? Are we?
Could I have got the same answer if I subtracted the 1523 minus 3413 minus 601 minus 9? And then take that number, which was, I got 11,207 divided by the 15,230. I don't know.
No, because what you get is older than 65 when you do that. You would have gotten these two.
Okay, I just need to read.
Nice. Yeah, so right, so you had the right idea.
Okay.
You could do 1 minus that decimal that you got, and you'd get the same decimal as this one.
Okay.
And Eric, for E above it, for the second part of it, it says had an underlying health condition. So
Oops.
with that, I think that's supposed to be the 11,370.
Yep. Oh, let's see. Had an underlying, so the subtraction should be this one, shouldn't it? 2851. So here's the
Yeah,
34.
but the second piece of it should be the 11,000. I
Oh,
think you're
that
just
too.
using, yeah,
Yep.
you're using the wrong column.
See, Misty, I'm doing the same thing you're doing.
Yep.
You're in good company.
I only did that to prove a fact.
More caffeine is needed.
This is like my 10th cup.
I've only had 2.
Oh, well, get going. Get I might have COVID. I don't know. My daughter has COVID, poor little thing. So that I'm going to use that as my excuse. Cool. How's everyone doing? Sarah, how you doing? And Reagan, how about you?
Good. I feel good about it. I was just wondering with the midterm, so it starts at 8:30. Can we get on any time in between 8:30 and 11?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is my tutoring, oh, that's a different link.
Yeah, I was wondering, do we come to just this Zoom? And you're just not
Yes.
gonna do the tutoring that day?
So what I'll do is, yes, what I'll do is change the link to this link for the tutoring. And then if people pop in for tutoring, that's fine. I can still talk to them. You'll be put in your separate room, and yes, you can come in anytime between there.
Okay,
That's just when I'll have it on. I need to make a mental note to make that work. Cool. Thank you for asking that. All right, we got 5 minutes and you've got 4 pages. So that's a minute per page and then a minute to discuss. Go. That's ridiculous, of course. How about we say this? So you've got tomorrow to go over things with Cindy. What I think you should do is finish this, have it completed as your study for that midterm, and then you can figure out what's going on if you got it right with Cindy tomorrow. I still have, what is today, Wednesday? Oh, so I still have tutoring hours tomorrow that you can come to and work. Monday morning, you can still come during tutoring hours, and instead of take the exam, we can work on stuff. And then you could take the exam after you've studied for a little bit, although I would probably say if we're into the 11 o'clock hour, I would suggest you come in the evening to finish it, or to start it and finish it. Remember, you're turning this thing in for me to grade as part of your score for the actual midterm. What is this list? Okay, so for the three of you here, any burning questions that you have, any concerns?
I didn't see any Z scores, which I was very thrilled about.
I think there's one on here.
Oh,
I'm guessing there's one.
I could suffer through one.
Right here, computed Z-score.
Okay.
So this was that chapter 3 problem we skipped, where you need to know the mean and the standard deviation,
Okay.
and then you calculate that Z-score. So it's data value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Just have that formula on your reference sheet,
Okay.
and there will be one. I mean, I'll tell you, this exam, this sample exam is almost a 1-for-1, except that it's too long for what you're actually going to have to do. So I don't want to say that the only types of questions that will be on the midterm will be from the sample midterm, but they're all very similar.
So the question came up last night, so I'll ask it now as well. Is there anything that will be a surprise to them that is not from the sample midterm?
Like
I
any equations that weren't used on the sample midterm, stuff like that. Any different ideas like that?
I can say this with 100% certainty. If we collect all the reviews, all the worksheets in the sample midterm, 0 surprises. Most likely there will be nothing on the actual midterm that wasn't on the sample midterm, but I don't want to say that. This is a pretty comprehensive sample midterm. I mean, like, if you look at this, you can find questions from all of the worksheets on this one. I think that the thing where there could be some questions that aren't on this sample midterm that could be on the actual midterm are a few things maybe from chapter 1 and chapter 2. Like maybe, I mean, but this does have a lot of it. There won't be much. I'm just trying to say, I don't want to say that there won't be, but there's a really good chance that there won't be. How about this? If you have really limited time and all you did was the sample midterm as your study, you would be pretty well prepared for the actual midterm. You shouldn't be, if you've been doing all of the work we've been doing in class, there will be no surprises. You will have done every problem on the actual midterm. If you haven't been doing all of the worksheets and doing them like the correct way to do them, meaning you attempt them yourself and then look at the answers from the videos or whatever, you will be just fine on this midterm. All that you have to overcome is your own, the psychology of it's a scary midterm. Go ahead, Misty, what you got?
I just have to slow down and read, and I think I'll be okay.
Yes, take your time and read. There's going to be 0 time constraints on it, especially if you come at the nighttime.
Yep, I'll be there.
Awesome. And please, while you're in the Zoom thing, if you find yourself getting scared and thinking like, I don't know anything, I can't do this, raise your hand and I'll come talk to you. I'll pretend to be a therapist and we'll do our best to like
Talk you down off the ledge.
yeah, why do you feel that way? You know, like, explain that feeling. Where is it coming from? Did your father, was he kind to you as a child? You know, like.
Eric.
Okay. That does give me peace of mind.
Good. Yeah, I don't want the fear to cloud the results. And really, those of you that are here, I will be surprised if you do poorly. Students that aren't able to attend here, just because I haven't been able to interact with them as much, I don't know how they will do. you know, and I'm worried for them. Not everyone has their lives and can only come in to what they can, but for you that have been here working, I know you're doing it, so you're good.
You guys are good.
Awesome.
Thank
awesome.
you.
All right. You guys
All
have a
right,
great
Dawn.
day. I'll see you tomorrow.
I.
Bye-bye.